from West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Support for the following is provided by the West Virginia Department of Education and West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Hey! Hey everyone, it's Education Station!
Hi, and welcome back to Education Station. I'm your host, Alex Milanese. In today's special parent edition of Education Station, we're going to meet educational experts who are going to share strategies that you can use while teaching your little ones at home. So first up, we get to visit Miss Lemon, who has 3 fun literacy games that you can play at home with your children. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Andrea Lemon, and I work for the West Virginia Department of Education in the Office of Middle and Secondary Learning. I'm joined today by my 3 kids, Hayden, Quinn, and Corbin, and we're going to share some fun activities you can do at home to continue building your literacy skills. The best part about these activities is they don't take any resources that you don't already have at home. All it takes is a simple sheet of paper. We're using computer paper today, but notebook paper or construction paper would work, or even a dry erase board or chalk paint if you have something like that at home. And the alphabet. So as long as you have those 2 things, you can enjoy the 3 activities that we're going to share today. The first activity we'd like to share using the A to Z paper is just a simple discussion activity that you can have about whatever you're currently reading at home. I imagine you have a similar problem as you're at home that we do. Everyone's reading something different. Quinn is currently reading Anne of Green Gables. I'm reading a book called Define. Corbin prefers to read articles in magazines like Game Informer. And Hayden likes to read historical information. So he's currently reading The Miracle of Dunkirk, the true story of Operation Dynamo. Now, I haven't read the book that he's reading, and so what typically happens when we haven't read each other's books, which is often, is a discussion that goes something like this. Hayden, how do you like the book you're reading so far?
It's alright.
And that's usually where it ends. It probably does at your home too. It's alright, it's fine, I don't like it, it's okay. And that's not much of a discussion, and it doesn't really help us lock in the information or the vocabulary. So what we do instead is use the A to Z board to give us some things that we can talk about together. So the activity goes like this. As Hayden has been reading Dunkirk, he's been writing down words that start with the first letter of each letter of the alphabet to help himself remember some things that we can talk about and to give me some things to ask him about. So if we look at his sheet, I can see that some of them are direct places from what he's reading. He has Belgium for B. Some of them are larger concepts about the text. I see he has invasion for I, and I know just enough about what he's reading historically to know that a major feature in the story is invasion. But then he also has some broader terms, like restlessness for R. So we're going to use that one to show you how this discussion might go in your home. So Hayden, I see that on your paper you've written down R for restlessness. Can you tell me a little bit about what that has to do with the book you're reading?
Yeah. In the book, a lot of the characters are, always in a small city. They're always stuck and they're always tired and they're just waiting for, the Germans to maybe invade their city and attack at any point. Mm-hmm. So they always have to stay awake and they're always tired.
For our second activity, using the A to Z sheet, we're going to have an A to Z race. And you can do this 2 ways. So I'm going to show you the first way, and Hayden and Quinn are going to help me out. So unlike the first activity where we're using something that we've read, in this activity we're just going to pull on our prior knowledge and pull on the vocabulary that we already know, and at the end I'm going to show you a way to learn some new vocabulary. Now for the video, I'm going to take it easy on my helpers, and we're going to use a common topic. We're just going to use the topic food. In your home, you could use the topic of something you're currently studying together, of a show you've recently watched. Maybe you've been watching some educational TV or National Geographic, and so you might pick a topic like Antarctica or animals that live in the rainforest. But today I'm going to take it easy on my helpers, and we're just going to use the topic food. So this is how the game works. The kids have the topic food, and they have their A to Z sheets. The only other thing we need is some kind of timer. I'm going to use a cell phone. That's something most of us have around the home. A kitchen timer works as well, or one of those flip over sand timers from a board game that you have. Anything that does time. I'm going to do 2 minutes today, and you can make it longer or shorter depending on the familiarity with the topic. So in just a minute, I'm going to give the kids the topic of food again, and they're going to race head to head in 2 minutes to see who can write down as many foods as possible, starting with each letter of the alphabet. So ideally, the first one to 26 words before the timer goes off would win. So let's go ahead and start. Kids, your topic is food in 3, 2, 1, go. So when time's up, there are a couple of different things you could do. One of their favorite things to do is count up how many words you have. So go ahead and count them up. And if you're really competitive, you can count them up and compare and see who wins. That's something my competitive duo here likes to do. So let's see who won today. How many, Quinn?
19.
19? Hayden? 17. So little sister takes him today 19 to 17. That doesn't happen very often. But so it's kind of fun to do it competitively. Our last activity with A to Z doesn't actually require the paper board at all. So this activity is an A to Z rapid fire game on a topic everyone agrees to. And we actually, for this one, are going to use another book. It's a book series that, for once, the whole family was able to read, everybody agreed and enjoyed it. And so we're going to play this round of A to Z off of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So this is one that you can play at the kitchen table, in the living room, in the car if you're just out for a drive, or even in the woods if you're taking a hike. And so the game works like this. Hayden and I have already pre-selected a letter to start the game. In a moment, we'll say that letter. Quinn and Corbin, who are playing as a team as well, they'll have to the count of 5, and we just kind of do a good faith mental count of 5 in our home. They'll have to the count of 5 to come up with a word related to the book that starts with the letter that we gave. Now here's where it gets tricky. Whatever letter their word ends with, Hayden and I have to come up with a word, again in the count of 5, that starts with the last letter of their word. And then it goes back and forth until one team can't come up with the word that begins with the ending letter of the word before. And so we've pre-selected our letter to play the round with, and it looks a little bit something like this. Okay, Quinn and Corbin, the letter is R.
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw. WWW. Wizard.
Dementor.
Ron.
Nimbus.
Nimbus, SSSSS. Snape.
Hagrid, no.
No, Corbin. E.
What do you mean E?
And then usually it explodes into giggles when you end with a word that you can't figure out or something just gets a little bit too tough. Sometimes when that happens, if you want to make it a little more of a learning activity, you can actually dive back into whatever you're reading and try to find something that starts with an E, and you can pick the game up from there. Or you can just count that as a point, so that would be a point to me and Hayden. And then the next team, that's Quinn and Corbin, will get to throw out another letter, and we would start the round, and you go back and forth, back and forth. So that's another great activity to lock down some vocabulary terms and to work on the content of what you've been reading at home, whether you've read something together or you've all read something differently. So we hope the 3 activities that we've shown today are something that you can use at home, whether you're by yourself and studying with a book so that you can discuss it later with your family, or if you're just looking for some family activities to help you build some literacy skills and some additional vocabulary.
Thanks, Miss Lemon. Okay, next up we get to visit Miss Hammond, who's going to share some strategies that you can use to help your children improve their math skills. Let's go.
Hello, my name is Teresa Hammond. I'm the Assistant Director in the Office of Early and Elementary Learning at the West Virginia Department of Education. Since you are the most influential teacher in your child's life, it is likely they will imitate your behavior and like or dislike what you like or dislike. And what you do has a lasting effect on your child's ability to succeed. We all want our children to do well, be successful, and happy. Setting high expectations for your child and supporting them with the tools they need is important. There is compelling evidence that mathematics is the key to your child's future success. What we all know is that high achievement in mathematics is an indicator that your child will more than likely do well later on in life. Many high-paying jobs are in the STEM fields. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, where mathematics plays a role in every single discipline. Your child's attitude toward mathematics can have a huge impact on their financial well-being after graduation. How you approach mathematics in your home determines the attitude he or she will have toward mathematics, and it can influence their future. So how do you help your child keep on track and help them with math while you're all at home? The first thing you might gravitate to when thinking about helping with math skills is to teach your children how to read and write numbers. Being able to read and write numbers, they're valuable skills that are extremely important in helping your child express their understanding of mathematics. In order to share knowledge about a topic, they must be able to read and write and use the language to communicate their understanding. However, those skills should come secondary to helping your child develop those mathematical reasoning skills that are essential to mathematics achievement. Mathematics is the study of numbers, shapes, patterns, and how things can be counted. The understanding of mathematics is developed by observation, reasoning, questioning, and making sense of numbers. This very first exposure to number helps them develop something called number sense or numeracy. There are things you can do early on in a child's educational life that will give them an advantage to having successful mathematics experiences in school. The first and most foundational piece is the understanding and value of number. In the West Virginia College and Career Readiness Standards, counting objects, understanding that the last number counted is the number of items in a set, and understanding that one object has the value of 1, 2 objects has the value of 2, 3 objects has the value of 3, and so on. That's called cardinality, and they are the very first things that your children should experience. How to get to that understanding needs to be engaging, and it should be experienced through conversation and exploration. Simple games that can be played at home with almost any item you have laying around the house can help your child keep engaged and strengthening their math skills. An example of a game you can play at home is called Count It. It's a fun way to practice counting on and adding, and it's appropriate for children from pre-K to kindergarten if using 1 to 5 objects, or children in 1st and 2nd grade if using 10 to 20 objects. It's good practice for older children to help younger children become brilliant mathematicians. Now, this is an easy activity that you can do with your child, or you can have them play with their brothers and sisters in teams. You can use a variety of objects to play the game, such as pennies, paper clips, dried beans, or other small objects that a young child can fit in the palm of their hand. So here's how it works. All you have to do is put those objects in the middle of the table, and the caller, which can be you or your child, determines the number of items that they are going to count out. So the caller calls a number, let's say 5, and the child very quickly pulls out 5 of whatever object it is, let's say paper clips. When they do that, their job then is to count it. They're to count theirs and then they're to count yours or their brothers or their sisters, depending upon how many people are at the table. And there are different kinds of variations of this game you can play. You can practice counting the total, or you can practice taking some out and saying how many is left. This is just a fun way to count. Here's another thing you can do. Count the number of steps from your living room to another room in the house. See how many steps it takes you, and then see how many steps it takes your child. Remember the number of steps it took, and you have your child remember the number of steps they took. And then go back to that kitchen table and get out the objects such as dried beans or paper clips and count out the two numbers. Talk about what number is bigger and what number is smaller. Then ask the question why. Your child should come up with many different wonderings, like maybe you have bigger feet, or maybe their legs are shorter, therefore they have to take more steps. Having conversations and inspiring them to think about greater and less than helps your child meet grade level standards found in pre-K through grade 2. Another thing to do while you're home in the next few weeks is to take walks. Walking is a wonderful way to get out of the house and get those wiggles out. While walking with your child, ask them to observe what's happening to the trees, the flowers, and other plants. You might want to stop and count the petals on a flower, the leaves on a branch, or the number of flowers on a stem. Observation is one of the most important mathematical skills we can teach our child as they develop mathematical reasoning skills. Children are naturally curious, so spending time giving them opportunities to think and wonder help build their observational skills. You can encourage them to think about the number of legs they see on an insect, a spider, or an animal they see while they're out on the walk. And you might ask questions like, if you have 2 legs and the duck has 2 legs, how many legs are there? This line of question can become more sophisticated as your child's understanding of number grows. If the dog has 4 legs and you have 2 legs, how many legs are there? Well, you get the idea. If going outside isn't an option during this time, you can help your child create their own treasures by using construction paper and cutting circles, squares, and triangles. Have them use those shapes to create a collage. Ask them questions about the shapes, the color, and how many objects it took to make their design. Mathematics isn't just about counting in numbers. It's about shapes and exercising the visual part of the brain. It encourages your child to be visual and make connections between breaking larger shapes into smaller ones and putting smaller shapes together to make bigger ones. Your child can create new designs, cut the pieces they use, and have fun while doing it. At the end of the day, you might have a little fun too. The most important thing to remember is that children can continue to learn outside of the classroom. And by making the most of your time together, you're preparing your child for their return to school, whenever that might be. If you're looking for other ways to help your child with important math concepts, be sure to visit the West Virginia Department of Education's website.
Thanks, Miss Hammond. Okay, for our final stop, we're going to visit Miss Turner, who has some great information about how you can get up to 60 free books for your child. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Brandy Turner, and I'm an early literacy specialist working on the West Virginia Campaign for Grade Level Reading, which is a partnership between the West Virginia Department of Education and the June Harless Center at Marshall University. Today I'd like to share a program that provides free books to children in West Virginia. Many of you may already know of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. The Imagination Library program allows a free book to the home of children from birth to age 5 who live in a participating county and sign up. This means if a child starts at birth, they would have a library of over 60 books of their very own. We think this is an exciting opportunity for a number of reasons. The main reason is that we know that books in the home are the single biggest indicator of academic success. It makes a greater impact than income, parents' education, and any other factor that might impact learning. Another reason this opportunity is so exciting is that books get mailed directly to your child in their own name. Imagine seeing the look on their faces when they receive mail of their very own. The first book that every child receives is one of Dolly's personal favorites, The Little Engine That Could. The reason why every child receives this as their welcome book to the program is because in the first 2 pages there's reading tips for parents and a personal letter from Dolly. A great way to extend the read aloud is a fun activity that goes along with the book. You can do this with any book. An example of an activity for The Little Engine That Could that would be appropriate for most age ranges is tracing shapes with trains. One idea is to use a toy train and paint shapes using the wheels, so the children are essentially creating their own train tracks. The other idea is to use tape to go ahead and form the shapes on the floor and make the tracks for the trains to follow. Once a child receives the welcome book, the future books are grouped by age, so your child will receive a book that is appropriate for them. An example of a book for the first age group is Good Morning Farm Friends. This board book is all about farm animals waking up and getting ready for their busy day. It has fun rhyming text, colorful illustrations, and it's just the perfect way to start your day with your little one. Having fun with making animal sounds is always a fun option when reading farm books. But if you have access to farm animal toys of any shape or size, then consider making a farm basket and add a little musical toy in there and practice the song Old MacDonald Had a Farm and role play as you go along. Another idea is to use the farm toys to create a sensory bin, using the toys and then some type of edible base like Cheerios or another cereal that you have. It's important that the base at this age level is edible because we know children at this age really love to put anything in their mouths, so we want to make sure that the bin is as safe as possible. The second age group can expect a book such as ABC, Look at Me. This is a wonderful book for teaching the child the alphabet. This book starts with A is for angry and ends with Z is for zany. Every letter of the alphabet is an example of a mood that each letter stands for. This book really lends itself to several different activity ideas. The obvious idea is an alphabet activity. A simple activity you can do at home is alphabet magnet matching, using a cookie sheet, magnets, and markers. If you don't have magnets, then you can simply make the letters using paper or index cards, whatever you have at home and handy. The book also is a great starting point to talk about emotions and moods. So making masks of some of the common emotions and role-playing using them is a great way to teach your children about how their emotions convey something to the people around them. For younger children, consider just making 2 faces, like happy and sad, to keep it simple. The fourth age group will learn how to be patient when shopping when they read the book Llama, Llama, Mad at Mama. Llama goes on a shopping trip with Mama and of course is looking forward to the treat when they're all done. But Llama becomes very impatient and mad when shopping is no fun. But eventually he learns to work with Mama to get the shopping done. You can use this book as an opportunity to talk about how children can control their emotions and even use the mask idea from the ABC Look at Me book that we talked about earlier. You can also provide old magazines and coupon ads and have your children go shopping for your grocery list. So the picture on the left is a fun example of what that could look like. You could also provide a recipe and have them shop for the ingredients. Using a recipe that they're very familiar with, maybe their favorite dinner, would be a great idea so that they already know what ingredients to look for. The fifth age group will learn about sibling rivalry and self-esteem when they read Excellent Ed. This story reassures children that everyone is excellent at something and that your family loves you just the way you are. A wonderful activity to do with this age group is to have them create their own book. It can be as simple as stapling paper together, or you can make a more durable version for toddlers simply using poster board and tape. To go along with Excellent Ed, your little one can create an All About Me book where they share the things about themselves that they love. If you have a pet, you can also have them make a book about the things they like to do with their pet. The ideas for this book are endless. The last age group will enjoy books such as The Tale of Peter Rabbit, and this is also the time when this age group is turning 5. So during their 5th birthday month, they will receive their last Imagination Library book, Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come. This is a story of a little boy who is so excited for kindergarten, but is nervous just the same. So he and his mom talk about what to expect. This is a great book to read the summer before they start their kindergarten year. To help your soon-to-be kindergartner get used to going to school, consider following the Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come book with an activity where they help create a morning routine checklist. Allowing them to help with this process will create ownership and really make it a fun experience for them every morning. You can print pictures like you see here and have them color them, or you can have your child draw their own pictures. You can use the idea that you see using a file folder and Velcro or magnets so that they can follow the process and pull down the tab when they have completed that morning routine. Or just simply use construction paper, as long as the idea is that they're creating something that is child-friendly so that they can use it and create it on their own. Like Dolly, we agree that you can never get enough books into the hands of enough children. So our team is working really hard to start the program in every community in West Virginia so that every child birthed to age 5 has this opportunity. You can learn more about the program and check the availability in your area by visiting the website below or contact me directly at brandy.turner@k12.wv.us. My last tip for you is that did you know that reading aloud for just 15 minutes a day helps feed your child's brain? So go find a cozy reading spot, cuddle up with your little one, and enjoy a good book.
Thanks, Ms. Turner. All right, well, that wraps up everything for us here today on Education Station. We want to thank everyone who submitted their awesome videos, and we want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Education Station.